Hello, my name's John. These are my Deathwatch conversions, and you're watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is a quick show and tell for a few people who've asked some questions about my Deathwatch army so far and all of the conversions I've worked on. So what I'm going to do is just jump straight into it and start running through all of the conversions. So this is my Watchmaster. You'll notice that it's still not attached to the base because I still haven't got around to painting this. I would like to paint all of these pretty soon. If you'd like to see a video on how I do paint these, please drop it in the comments. I do like to start with a white base coat for all of my models, even if I know they're going to be quite a dark model. In this case they're going to be black armour, but I don't mind building that up over the white base coat. Really enjoyed this conversion, everything from the spear to the base with the servo skull and all the other details. But this guy's from the Howling Griffins. Really enjoyed converting him. Next up is my Deathwatch Terminator Captain. Again, you'll see not attached to the base, and this base is different to the one that was in the original video. I ended up wanting to change the base altogether, so that's what I did. I cut down I think it was the 60mm base, the 80mm, I can't remember the size of the base, but I cut that down for this character. Really enjoyed this conversion, and I'll leave a link to the videos in the description. As you can see, he was a member of the Dark Angels and specifically a Deathwing, but really enjoyed this conversion using loads of different parts. So I've got that Gene Stealer head and spine from a Space Hulk Terminator, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. Leads on to my Space Marine Lieutenant conversion. As you can see, this one is from the Ultramarines and looks very similar to Sergeant Tellian, the Scout Sergeant from the Ultramarines. I haven't decided if it is or it isn't, but I quite like the idea of this character looking very similar to him, so I could use that as a little bit of a narrative within this army. But really enjoyed this little conversion. Very simple as well, just arm and head conversions, and then adjusted that base, resculpted a bit at the foot. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. It was a nice little characterful model. Looking forward to finally getting around and painting this as well. So here we have the biggest model in this small army, and it is this Ballistus Dreadnought. Not much to say about this one. I added the Deathwatch icon just to the side there, and anyone who's seen the previous video with the magnetic missiles that I put in, I've now glued them in after all the problems I had, so they are just glued in place. But really happy with this. Adds a little bit of size to this army, and I think it works with the units that I've got. I've then got my selection of Terminators, which we'll go through one by one. So starting with the Flamer Terminator, this is a member of the Salamanders, and I used the other Deathwatch kill team Cassius Terminator to convert this. So I've used the arm, the backpack with all the fuel, and the flamer on there. Really like the way that this one has turned out. It's nice having the upscale Terminators now, and I really enjoy doing conversions with them. They are one of my favourite models. There we have that Terminator. Then have a Black Shield Terminator Apothecary. Obviously in game doesn't really make any difference, it's just either going to be a Power Fist or a Chain Fist. The Narcum, I'll put it on the screen. But the Apothecary's tools. But yeah, I really like the idea of a mysterious Terminator, but who helps his team whenever they need it. But that's a simple conversion, that one, but like the way it turned out. Then have the Blood Angel, just a Blood Angel head in there with the shoulder pad. Really like this one, just stomping forward, shooting the Storm Bolter. But yeah, another nice simple model. This is one of my favourite Terminators. It is the Raven Guard Terminator, and rather than a Power Fist or a Chain Fist, I used one of the old Deathwing lightning claws, and I think it just adds that little bit of depth to the character of this guy and just changes the look slightly and ties in with the whole Raven Guard aesthetic, I think. But yeah, really enjoyed doing that one. And then finally, the sergeant for this squad is a Space Wolf, and I really enjoyed getting the old Space Wolf cloak fitted to this Terminator. Did have to do a little bit of scoring, tidying up underneath, but I really like the way that this one turned out. It's nice and bulky. I also like the narrative idea of having the Terminator captain as a Dark Angel, and then his sergeant is a Space Wolf. So maybe a little bit of conflict between them narratively, but also some mutual respect. But I really like the way that that one turned out. I've then got my Deathwatch kill team, the Primaris scale conversions that I did. I'm really happy to see that they've just been announced as a new kill team. I'll put a few pictures up on the screen while we run through these, but yeah, I'm really happy that they've upped the scale. One thing that I am wary of is how the weapon loadouts are going to be when they do get released, in case there's anything I have to change or tweak in these. The one thing I have noticed is the heavy weapon operatives do have the larger Primaris armour rather than the standard one, but we'll see how that turns out when they do get a release. But anyway, let's go through the squad. So we have here the sergeant, and I decided to go with a Minotaur's sergeant for this one, just because I thought it added quite a nice narrative. Normally the Minotaurs in their lore are a full chapter based Space Marine chapter. They don't divide off or that kind of thing, but I thought it'd be quite nice to have this little guy on his own for some reason, maybe being penitent to his chapter or doing a quest or something like that, and has joined the Deathwatch for a while. But there we have that sergeant. Really enjoyed the little narrative story that I'm coming up with for him. Then a Space Wolf with the frag cannon. Again, nice and simple this one, but really like the idea of a roaring Space Wolf shooting a frag cannon into any Xenos they come across. But again, I thought nice little characterful model, that one. For this one, I went for a Raptors Space Marine. So there you can see we have the Raptors shoulder pad, and he's the sniper of the group. Not much to say about this conversion. Same with all of them. They're just shoulder pads and the scaled up bodies with the standard arms put on them. But really happy with the way that they look. Then have a Nova Marine looking at a computer on their wrist. Really like the way that this one turned out, like he's observing the battlefield or working a few things out, ready to relay to the team. And then finally we have the Black Templar. I really like the way I added the candles on this one, just to give it a little bit of a kind of a different gothic-y kind of look. I doubt they'd stay alight that long, but I do like the way that he's got his purity seals dotted around him and the candles and things like that. And I think it kind of, to the rest of the squad, they all look quite unique and different, but they all kind of work together in a strange coherency. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this little video of me running through all of my Deathwatch conversions so far. I will leave a link in the description to the videos, as I said, and if you want to see any particular videos of either more conversions or painting techniques, please drop it in the comments. As always, what I will do at the end of this video is put a little gallery showing you all of these models to give you a good idea of what they actually look like up close, but for now all I can say is thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching War Games, Models and Other Hobbies.